Another big delivery day. So got my short wall mount for our Starlink dish. So I think I mentioned in the original video where I set up the Starlink stuff that they have a variety of different mounting options. I was originally doing a pole mount, thinking that I could put it in the backyard where I had my other satellite dishes in the past. And because of the location of the satellites, it has to be either on top of or in front of the house instead of behind the house. So that didn't work, and the missus didn't want the dish sitting in the front flower bed like it is right now. So we settled on this short wall mount, is what they call it. So they have a long wall mount which sticks out farther from the wall if you have to go around a gutter or something like that. This one is very simple. Basically, there's two bolts that go in. It's going to go into the fascia on this front of the garage and just hold it out a little bit from the wall, and then the pole will snap in there. So basically they give you the mount itself, a snap-on cover for the mount that's going to go in there to cover everything once it's all set up, and still gives you a place for the cable to come out. A couple lag bolts to go into it, and I was looking at the instructions. They give you this tube of silicone to run your pilot hole and then put the silicone in and then run the screws through to help seal it up so there's nothing leaking. I don't know that that would be a big problem, but still we can do it that way. Pretty nice instruction book. Comes in English, French, Spanish, German, Italian, Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, Polish, Turkish, Dutch, Danish, and one I can't recognize. So basically the English instructions are 2 pages. So it tells you to go ahead and find where the stud is, where you're going to put it. You want to mark where your center holes are, where the bolts are going to go, and then pre-drill a hole, and then screw in the lag bolts with a little bit of silicone, like I said. And then after that, they say to go from the inside out. So set your router where you want it, drill a hole out, in my case out into the garage, run the wire along the side of the garage up to where it's going to be on the fascia, not too different from what this diagram shows, and then up through the hole here, up through the hole here into that, and then you move your dish up there, plug it in, and snap it into the mount. And then they did give us quite a few. I mean, I'd call them staples, but they're a lot nicer than that. These wire clips, so they screw in, and they're pretty nice size, so there's enough room to get the wire in there and then screw it into the wall. So that's pretty nice, and there's quite a few. So that's what you get for the short wall. Oh, and they sent this covering. I thought it was a bag at first. I guess it's a carrying bag for the satellite dish itself. I have no idea. It's not in the instructions. I don't know why I would want that, but it's kind of nice. So it's a cover, I guess, for the satellite dish, but it does have a carrying strap on it. So anyway, that's what comes with the short wall mount. And we're going to start on the side of the garage. We'll mark the holes, drill this, get this guy nice and solid on there, and then we'll worry about start running the wire out to it. So we can do this without disconnecting our satellite, and the rest of the time we'll be offline until we get it up. So, all right, next we'll work on the garage. Okay, I've marked on the fascia there are 2 dots where I'm going to pre-drill. I'm going to use a 1/4 inch drill bit to drill for the lag bolts to go in to hold the bracket itself. And then down here I've got a little X where I'm going to use a 1-inch drill bit to go through the siding and into the garage so that I can pass the cable out. So anyway, that's next. Okay, so now I've got my 1/4-inch holes drilled. The lag bolts actually have a 1/2-inch head on them, so I put a 1/2-inch nut driver on my drill. So according to the instructions, I should squirt a little silicone rubber in there first, which they give you a little tube of. So I'm going to do that and then tighten the bracket to the fascia there. And I did get a hole drilled here in the siding to pass the wire through. One thing, their cables are very sturdy, but they have odd heads on them, so they're not really made to go through small holes. You have to drill a bigger hole than I'd like, but anyway, it is what it is. Okay, bracket's up good now. I put quite a bit of my considerable weight on it, and it didn't budge, so I think we're good for the satellite dish. Good and solid. I did want to say one more time how impressed I am with the base that they give you with the dish. This little quad pod, if you will. It's heavy, it's sturdy. It's been out here all summer long and hasn't moved a bit. If I push this button in though, that releases it. The dish comes loose, and I have the cable here. This pulls out, and you have the connector. Again, like I said, it's kind of an odd shape. It fits in really nice and snug. It's really well designed that way. It's not, I don't think, great for passing through a wall, but it does have the ability to squash it down fairly flat. And I'm going to put a little piece of tape on that when I feed it through the wall to get it to go through easier. So, alright, so I'm going to drill a hole in my office out into the garage, pass this cable through the garage and through the hole I drilled on the outside, and then we'll see how we put it all back together. So I got the wire fed through. It's hooked up to the router in the house. I got it through here. I'll staple it later, but for right now I'm just trying to get it connected to the dish, which is being guarded. So if I take the dish, you can see, like I showed before, there's a push button here that will lock it in. On the other side, you'll see this slit. So the top of that slit is above the bracket, so the cable goes in there, doesn't have to pass through the hole in the bracket, and then this will just snap in to the bracket. And that's all there is to it. Once it turned and flattened out, went back to the satellite. I just went in and checked. I've got good internet again. All done. I'll go ahead and staple the wires and stuff, but that's boring. So anyway, that's all there is. Don't forget to subscribe.